Well, one of the things that I think really kills wrestling and like movies, TV, and stuff is spoilers. Uh, when Dave Meltzer, that fucking guy, gets a spoiler for WWE, he can't wait to print it like, Owen Hart's not actually dead. He's coming back to fucking wrestle Killer Cross, all this shit. Yet with AEW, he clearly is on the inside and isn't giving away any spoilers. Like, we don't know what the next feud is, what the next pay per view storyline is. So, why is it that you think that Dave Meltzer doesn't post a report on AEW spoilers?
Um, well, I've said this many times. I'm one of the rare people that supports Meltzer and supports Vince Russo, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And even though I'm a supporter of his, I will say it straight up as well. That guy the Young Bucks have a finishing maneuver named after him. He has always been a major fan of Japanese wrestling. He has been a fan of the Young Bucks, Omega, and others for a very long time. And basically, a lot of people in WWE, especially over the years, WCW as well at the time, they always, not everybody, but a large contingency always disliked Dave Meltzer. You write a newsletter and you could get 90% of the stuff accurately. And I'm not defending him right now, but I'm just making a point. He'll get 90% of the stuff accurate, but the 10% that he may get wrong, that's what they hold on to for years and years and years. Just look at the third man for the NWO and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, that guy, when he dies, I think his eulogy will be like the man who claimed Viscera. The point is that Meltzer does not hide his fandomhood for Japanese wrestling or AEW. And the thing is that he's become very biased. He's always had favoritism for Japanese wrestling. That goes back decades, but he is very biased towards AEW. And look, and again, I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just basically trying to explain how I interpret it. And this is just for someone looking outside. I look at Mike Johnson, who's on PW Insider. That guy so badly wanted to be in the back pocket of MLW many, many years ago, or Ring of Honor many, many years ago, that those feds would get front page, first page, would always get crazy amounts of news. And when you had all these other indie feds, because I was involved with some of these indie feds, trying to get just a little bit of publicity, you would get buried, ignored, and this and that. And, where your bread is buttered. And for AEW, getting scoops, getting the inside information, getting reports, if you're not in the good graces with them, you're not going to get coverage. So when you have Meltzer, who is got the good graces of AEW, and he is a huge fan of the product, that bias comes out more and more. The thing is, his newsletter, I don't think is as big as what it used to be. I was a subscriber for a very long time. But I think what a lot of people I confuse me is Dave Meltzer, nobody forces anybody to pay attention to him. Nobody forces anyone to read his newsletter. He wants to rate a match 6 stars. Why does it anger people so much? If people out there think that he's ridiculous and he's so biased, ignore the guy. I look at the Torch, Bruce Mitchell, Wade Keller. I don't pay any mind to them. I don't know what they're biased for or not, but I never liked their work. I have other reasons too, but I just don't pay attention to them. One thing I'll say about Meltzer is, again, he doesn't hide his bias. But I don't understand why so many people are so angered with the guy. There are many other people that they could follow in place of him. I personally think when it comes to podcasts and websites, they are just, and again, I'm not defending him. I'm just giving my opinion why I think it is the way it is. I think a lot of people are extremely jealous that there's a wrestling move named after him, that he gets inside info in AEW, that it just comes off as a jealousy, because if it wasn't a jealousy, why pay attention to him? Okay, he rated the Young Bucks, Omega and Page 6 stars. It was an excellent match. Is it the greatest match of all time? No. But for him, 6 stars. Okay. That's his bias coming out. That's him, giving a little extra care for something that he is a huge fan of. There are tons of ECW matches back in the day that are some of my favorite matches of all time, and I've played it for other people, and they said that's garbage. But I was a diehard ECW fan, so I saw it with an extra fondness to it. If people really can't stand Meltzer, don't pay attention to him. Don't follow him. He wants to rate something 6 stars, let him. That's how I look at it. I don't agree with a lot of what he says and he writes, but again, if it really upsets people, just ignore him. I could see if he was, like when he charges people for his newsletter, you know what you get. That's why when he has his year-end awards, they just had the awards this year, and Jericho, I think, might have been ranked number 1 or in something. And, you see all of these names that are ranked like 1 and 2. And even I will say, that's ridiculous. But those awards are based on the subscribers. So his subscribers are also in the same boat as him. They have similar views as him. And his newsletter is targeting a certain audience, and that's how he gets his subscriptions. People that don't like Meltzer or are not AEW fans probably aren't going to subscribe to Meltzer's newsletter.